this dialogue is important, but also to give the various aspects of how the city manages the environment. When we look at the pits, it's about how we can all improve on environmental stewardship, whether as a community or as council. As a community, we are saying that there are certain business people or certain community members that have illegally dug these pits. And therefore, the starting point is that it was illegal and was not supposed to be there. But we're also saying as a community, there is need for us to come up with solutions. Council is already on the ground to see how to redress the issue of the pits, but obviously it's within the overall desire to have a safe and protected environment. So as council, we're not looking at it in isolation, but we're saying how can we involve community participation in improving and protecting our environment. As council also, when we look at our various strategies and values, environmental stewardship is very key to us. That is why we have various arms of the city, like our park section, that are day-to-day involved in the protection of the environment and also in enforcement of those bylaws. So basically, as a community, as Bulawayo, we also expect stakeholders to come on board and ensure that some of these unfortunate incidents do not take place. For instance, the coming of whether it was residents or the community actually deciding, a community member who went swimming in those pits. It is unfortunate, but it is something that we need to create awareness about. As council, we've already been engaging the councillors in the area. We've gone to the community, the residents, and we've reinforced the message that we have to stay away from the pits, those that are still open. And also we've gone a step further to start rehabilitating or the environment in terms of covering the pits, but to allow us to have update on what goes on in council in terms of environmental protection. I've got 2 offices that will assist us. We've got our senior parks office, who is daily mandated with the responsibility of looking after environment. So you'll take us through what we do as council to protect the environment and also what we've been doing when it comes to illegal sand poaching. We also have our engineer, our roads engineer, who is on this platform. He will then take us through on what has been happening in terms of redressing the problem that we have of environmental degradation, or in simple terms, covering the pits. So I'll hand over to our senior parks officer, Mr. Dube, Sopo Dube. I also want to acknowledge my director, Mrs. Komalo. She's also on this platform. Should she need to come in, please give her that opportunity, and also our councillors. But at this stage, allow me to invite Mr. Dube to take us on in terms of the environmental bylaws. Nyabo.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be given to explain some of the things which we are actually doing as parks and the environmental protection of protection in the Bulawayo City Council. I'll try and explain in my mother language so that we can all understand what I'm trying to bring out. In a park section has the Lands Inspectorate. The Lands Inspectorate ngama rangers ayiwa akhangele nge-environment. Ekhangele nge-environment ama rangers. Into eyenzakalayo ukuthi as council sile problem yona le yokuthi ule sand poaching, wood poaching and other illegal activities esizibonayo ezenzakalayo. Silawona lawo ma problems esesikwenzile, we are actually trying siyazama ukuthi yenze environmental awareness campaigns kuma wards la kuma villages like St. Peter and other areas. But esilazo lo ukuthi into eyenzakalayo uzima ukuthi sicover the whole city with the ngabantu esilabo ama rangers esilabo. So kwazima kakhulu ukuthi sicover izindawo zonke. Siyabe sesicela ke community ukuthi sincedisane ukubana sikhave izindawo zolezo ukubana bareporte yonke into eyenzakalayo khonapho ezindaweni zabo ngoba izinto lezi esezenzakala kugejwa izihlabathi ezindlini duze lezindlu yonke indawo ezizulinile sokha lesibagebha beme phakathi komgwaqo bejikela ihlabathi emarolini so sicela ukubana izakhamuzi zisebenze sonke ukubana sizame ukuthi simise le into eyenzakalayo okunye okwenzakalayo sesivulile amagodi angu-2 enye ise St Mary's along Khame Ruins Road enye ise Luveve duze lemangcwabeni just after iLuveve cemetery new cemetery so indawo zolezo yizo abantu abavulelweyo ukubana bathathe inhlabathi khona okusemthethweni but uhlupho langikhona abantu kabasayi khonapho sebebona ukuthi kungcono ke ukuthi kanjani bathathe lapha bangasoze babhadale khona lanxa bebhadala noma singaze sibanike mahara but abantu vele poaching is there kulama awareness campaigns esiwenzayo le EMA la leztherapy bese sibuya lama operations amanye siwenzayo lawona lawo ama stakeholders ama campaigns lawo lama awareness campaign lama operations lawo azima kakhulu ngoba asila transport la eztherapy abengala transport labanye babengala transport data sila transport kuba zima ukuthi siwenze kuhle lawo ma operations ngibona ngani okwakhathesi ngiyama.
Thank you. I'll invite Engineer Dibiti to continue. Thank you.
So sorry, my name is Matthew Sitiviti, the Assistant Director, Engineering Services, Roads. I will give you an update on what, starting from yesterday, I think we started work on the ground yesterday at Pumula pits. We have got 2 pieces of equipment, a bulldozer and an excavator. There are 2 dangerous pits. By dangerous, I mean they appear to be fairly deep pits. They are estimated to be about 5 meters deep. So what we're doing to rehabilitate those pits is to first excavate a trench so that we can drain water from those pits to a certain level before we start pushing rocks and the soil or the material that is in the vicinity of those pits using a dozer and an excavator. So the main challenge that we are facing on the ground, the area is wet, is swampy. So we started yesterday around 8, and by 12 noon, our dozer was stuck almost 2 to 3 times because of the nature of ground. So we're trying our level best. We don't know if we'll manage to completely rehabilitate those pits in this weather. We may suspend the works if it continues. I mean, if it continues to rain, and then just continue maintaining our security personnel on site. In terms of our requirements, in terms of resources, I don't know if our PR circulated our requirements. Basically, what we are constrained with as we speak, we need about 2,000 liters of diesel. We're struggling with diesel. Our branch has got about 3,000 liters that we got for this week or this month. I'm not sure, but we're just sharing with our general road maintenance works. So in terms of diesel, we're struggling. And we've got 1 front-end loader that we're using, that we intend to use to haul material from say Masia Pambili. That's why we've got heaps of spoil material that we can transport to the pits. What else? overall, what we intend to do, we intend to put about maybe 10 to 15 signs, warning signs in those pits. We consider the issue of fencing those pits, but putting a fence is just a waste of time, because you put a fence, you need again to put a security man to watch that fence. So the issue of fence is not an option. It's just to backfill those ones and put a warning sign to avoid people trespassing those dangerous areas. I think in a nutshell, I think that's all what I have.
Thank you, Engineer. I note that our Director of Town Planning is here, Mr. Siziba. Would you like to say anything before as we wind up Council's response? And also our policymakers are here, should they want to chip in about what they've been doing in the community. So I'll invite Mr. Siziba to please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Just to emphasize and to buttress what my colleagues have said, like Dube did mention ukuthi council did designate ama areas okumele ukuthi asetshenziswe for ukuthi kutholakala inhlabathi. Lezi ezinye ezenzakalayo ngeziyabe zingekho emthethweni. And also to say it is everybody's responsibility now ukuthi siboneni ukuthi amanye kagejwa. Because an exercise was done to try to map amagodi, ukuthi amagodi ekhona ku city anganani kufakwa ama sites. But the time usiyathutsha ngale kuyabe sokulamanye asegejiwe. Ukuthi we need really the whole community to participate and make sure ukuthi amagodi kagejwa, because amagodi abakhephayo are also part of the community. Ukuthi it's for all of us to engage each other and make sure that we do not do that. And also, as we see amagodi, some of amagodi, the council might not be aware of them, but let's do communicate the council ukuthi kulezinto kule magodi endaweni ezinje, kule magodi endaweni ezinje. Then they get profiled and mapped. Then because this appears is a process, it's ukuthi kuphele sonkeni, but we need the participation of everybody. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Our policymakers, councillors, would you like to say anything as we finish council's response? I'll invite our councillors.
Can I say something?
I think their hands are up. One of them, Tanda's hand is up. And then Mrs. Kumar, you want to say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Kumar. Thank you.
Okay, besides council responses CPO, I want to say to our stakeholders and participants that we have some 8 recreational centers to occupy our youth so that they don't loiter in the streets, but besiyangena emagodini beswima. Slama homecraft centers angu 8, Slama libraries angu 9, Slama vocational centers njalo angu 8. Lapho esithi thina ama youth abahambe baye khona. Okwakhathesi siyazi all these recreational centers engikhuluma ngazo zivaliwe ngenxa ye-pandemic, but kungavula i-lockdown iphele, abahambe baye khona ngale. Lama swimming pool ngithemba yabe sevuliwe, ngiyakwazi ukuthi okuningi ukuba attractayo emagodini bafuna ukuyaswima khona bakuthiwa kulamanzi. Silama swimming pool asebenzayo khathesi operational angu 5, but because of the pandemic lawo kawavulwanga. So we purposefully occupy our youth to endaweni zonke lezi engiziqambayo. Bonke kabazama ukuthi baye khona ngale bayekela ukuyangena emagodini bese sicina sisenkathazweni. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Kumalo. I don't Lamtanda, you had your hand up.
Okay, ngiyabonga Bulawayo muhle. Actually what I wanted to say, mina ngikhansela Mtanda oka Ward 10. Ekade ngifisa ukukutsho, I think abanengi sebekukhulumile our council staff. I think amagodi lawa bakithi agcwele yonke indawo, and amagodi lawa egcwele yonke indawo umlandu usuyithi njengabazali and njengama-stakeholders ukuthi sizame nini ukuthi sikulungisise nini ngendlela elungileyo, because into ekhona yikuthi yebo i-council ilomlando wokuthi igqibele amagodi, but amagodi lawa evele edalwa yizakhamizi, and it's now a two-way thing ukuthi izakhamizi sekumele zi-identify amagodona lawo amalokitshi wonke. Ungananzelela kula magodona lawo kule ndaba lezo ezokuthi abantu sebegebhe imithombo eyokuthi bethelele izingadi lezi ezikhona sezigcwele yonke indawo. So konke khona lokhu sokumele kube yi-two-way thing ukuthi siyenze nini ama-awareness as i-council ukuthi abantu imithombo leyi amagodi lawa konke kuyingozi, but at the same time abantu kumele sibekwazi ukuthi the moment sigebha amagodi lawa avele azadalani kumphakathi wethu, abantwana kasoze sibakhanyele every day, and khona lokho kutshiwe yisikhulumi sokuqala ukuthi khona akusoyibo bantwana abancane abagijima besiyawela emagodini lawa, even abantu abadala, like isimo esenzakale kathesi last week kokungabafana abakhulu. So asikunanzelele nini ukuthi lathi njengezakhamizi, lathi njengama-stakeholders sibe nini lokukhanyela ukuthi indawo yakobulawayo yindawo yethu okumele siyigcine ngendlela elungileyo. Abantu sisuka sibe lokuthi asifuni kukhupha imali eyokuthi siye maybe ukuthenga inhlabathi sisayithatha lapho kumele ithathwe khona okusemthethweni, sibe sesigebha, sibe sesisenza izinto ezingayisizo. Abanye ama-staff members sekulahlekelwe yimphefumulo bebulawa ngabantu bona laba abagebha izinhlabathi ezigcina zisiba ngamagodi, ezigcina zisiba zingozi kumphakathi wethu. So besicela ukuthi sisebenzisane si-identify indawo zona lezo, sitsho nini ku-council ukuthi council amagodi kulamagodi endaweni enje ayingozi enganani, because at the same time mina ngeke ngaba le problem ewadini ku-ward 10 eyomntwana oweleyo okade eku-grade 4. Sathi sesithi sifuna ukuthi sizogqibela imithombo yona leyo, abantu baba against that lokhu zena indaba yokuthi kuyegqitshelwa imithombo yona leyo. So kusuka kube yinto enzima kakhulu, but at the same time sikhangelele ikusasa labantwana bethu, ikusasa lethu, loba ubani lobani uyakwanisa ukutshelela emthonjeni ona leyo uwele phakathi ufe, uyakwanisa ukutshelela emagodini ona lawo uwele phakathi ufe. So sokukithi njengezakhamizi, ngoba thina futhi izakhamizi yithi esibuya sisiya njani sisiyagebha wona lawa amagodi. Ngiyabonga. Mrs.
Thank you, Councillor Mtanda. I think from council side, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'll hand back to the facilitator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the council team, for that elaborate kind of explanations and the information that is very valuable for all of us. We will now go to plenary, and I note already we have a hand from Honorable J. Tofa. So I want to give about 5 people for now, 5 or 6 people, depending on the range of hands, to then contribute or ask questions, and then we also get the responses. I already see Honorable Tofa's hand is up, and if there is also someone who wants to contribute, please raise your hand or type your contribution or question on the chat box. Honorable Tofa, over to you.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to contribute. I'm just lowering my volume. We got some feedback. Okay. Yes. This is a very sensitive and topical issue, and I feel has been going on for many, many years. My question to the City Council would be, does the City Council no longer have the department where you had the inspector that would go around the areas and inspect? Because this also helps deter people from doing things. Inspector ezokhangela uthi kwenzakalani. Yes, I agree very much that there must be participation, or izakhamizi must be included, ziripote izinto ezinje. but mina ngibone ngani lakho kuqhakathekile ukuthi uCity Council akhanye kwayikusazakala kakhulu ukuthi uinspector ubekhona, even ubona ezindlini abantu bangafaka inhlabathi just outside the yard, uinspector wayebuye ekhangela ukuthi kanti kwenzakalani emzini lo. So amagodi lawa awephumula kaqalisanga this year, kakuqali ukufela abantwana emagodini nalawo. Siyakubonga kakhulu umsebenzi osuyenziwa yi-City Council, sebe reactor ekukhaleni kwabantu ukuthi lapha sesifelwe, and ama-activists alokuzileyo ayenze umsebenzi ukuthi i-City Council yenze umsebenzi omuhle kangaka. Ngiyezwa ukuthi i-City Council ilesikhalazo sokuthi kabalazi imali zokwenza, but I think kuqhakathekile lakho ukuthi i-City Council ikhanye ukuthi ikhona and must do their work. Ngiyabonga. I'm done. Thank you for now. Was I being heard as I presented, or?
Yes, we heard you, ma'am. We heard you. We heard you, Honorable. Honorable Mahlangu, it's over to you now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mutota. Ngendlela ngayo na iphela sikhangese lami ngivumelana zonke nje ezikhulumileyo bakhulumile kakhulu esayidini labe parks bekhuluma ngezinto okufanele ngabe abantu bayazenza usizo, especially nxa befuna inhlabathi nje. Wakhuluma even ubaba uDipiti ngokuthi kubuye material nje uzonceda abana. I can confirm lami ngibonile fikile lami ngikhona ngihamba lami ngahlanganela lezisebenzi ze-council. Wakhuluma njalo ubaba okhulume ngokuthi izakhamizi kufanele zazi lapho okumele khona zithathe inhlabathi. Ubaba uSiziba lokho okhulume kanjalo. Ngivumelana la ngisithi singaqeda lapha ngicelani ngingani angizisanga kuhle indaba lapha, indawo lapho okumele kuthathwe khona, so that nxa senza inhlangano yethu sizibikele izakhamizi ukuthi labana esibabiza ngokuthi usitshontsha inhlabathi abayiba bagebha la amagodi amanenginengi phakathi komuzi anje kuyingozi khulukana, abahambe bayethatha ngaphi langaphi bethenga, ngoba intengo yangikhona mina ngokuzwa kwami ayisontengo emangalisa kakhulu ukudlula yona leyi abayithenga kibo nxa sebethenga kulabana abantu. Going back to my presentation, ngiyabonga ngendlela eselisebenze ngayo council, besibhitha siyizakhamizi nobukhokheli, but with the help of umama usikhululekile moyo ucouncilor wethu ka-Ward 17 ubaba Alderman Sizana, baba uMalo, baba Budwethu. We manage at least sisehlise amathemba azi izakhamizi, ngoba izakhamizi indlela ade sezibona ngayo uCity Council, ngoba izakhamizi zikholelwa ukuthi iCity Council izilina City Council yini lagebha amagodi lawa chiya njalo evulekile ngoba you don't care ngempilo zabanye abantu, but of which it's not true, but sikwanisile nje ukwehlisa amathemba zabo. Ngikhangele ekakhulu ephumula ku-constituency ephumula sinesisa kulabana abasebenzayo aba-under I think yitender eyaphiwayo amachayini. Nxa ungahamba kuZulu kuphefumula East kule ndawo abathi yizone 2 kule godi eligejiweyo again ngingathola ifone number ile number yakho ngizayithumela ku-app indlela abachiya kuyo yona. Khathesi sesikhathini sezulu singakhala khathesi sikhale ngokuthi abantu bawela emagotini. Khathesi sabusesikhala ngabukholera ngale la malaria ngoba amagodi lana asekugcina amanye amanzi. Egcina amanzi imosquito iyafika khona pha. Indawo zonke iphumula especially eside yona ezengikhuluma ngazo kade kugebha khona alaba amachayina ngamagodi indawo yonke. Kodwa ke njengoba belisitsho ukuthi sicela sincedisane. Ngicela ukuthi lami lisivumele ukuthi besibone khona kulamagodi. Nxa kungamagodi lawana angadingi ama-bulldozer, angadingi ezinye izinto zokuthi bazigqibele. Sivumelenini sigqibele njengani njengezakhamizi ngoba ngiyabona ukuthi ziningi indleko ezingenzakala nxa sizogqibela lapha emagodini ngoba indawo yonke yona lena kuze kube ngamagodi wodwa. So ngiyakwazi ukuthi le ndawo lapha ekuzasala khona. So nxa nisivumela silakho ukuthi lathi njengezakhamizi sibe lelima lokuthi sigqibele ngathi endaweni zonezo. Njalo futhi lalabana abezesa izesa lebrewery nxa libavumela kulelana sijalo ukuthi singabantwana sakho sasibiza ukuthi izesa yikhowudi lana ikhowudi emnyama. Nxa livuma sicela labo ukuthi sinxa singakhulumisana labo babuye futhi labo bazogqibela futhi khona pha ukwenzela ukuthi umthwalo nomsebenzi ube mfutshwane. Okwakhathesi ngicela ukuthi ngime la. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I'll hand over to Jennifer and then Ntombizoto Ncube. Jennifer Dube and then Ntombizoto Ncube. Jennifer, are you still there? Seems Jennifer is not there. Ntombizoto Ncube.
Thank you so much, Kumbu. Ngiyabonga ithuba leli. Bengithanda mina ukubuza ukuthi i-City Council since ilama dumping site abalawo, I understand lanxa abantu kwesinye isikhathi befuna ukudampa whether abantu abadiliza imiduli. Kuyayenza yini ukuthi instead ukuthi bayidampa rona ukuthi badampela kumbe kusengozi. Why not bengakhangela izibi zomuntu ukuthi zinjani? Nxa lese ngabantu abadiliza imiduli so forth. Why bengaba refer ukuthi bebe besiyadampela emagodini kubancedisa ukuvala amagodi as we go. Mina I would love council ingaphukheli ukugodi konke kuma-poshers. Sometimes for the sake of the way forward they have to agree lapho abarongo khona ngoba amanye amagodi yi-City Council egap ichiye amagodi ingavalanga. To me, it will be wrong if i-City Council ngathi amagodi lana atrapha abantu nawo wonke sesidunduzelwa kuma-poshers. Abatshontshayo bayatshontsha vale side yawo. But i-City Council layo is not doing enough. Ilungisa imigwaqo isenzani ingalandeleli amagodi yawo iyagqibela. If I am wrong, I am free ukuthi banjele ukuthi bona abo bayagqibela nini. Because amagodi esikhuluma ngawo at the end aclaima impilo zabantu agejwa yi-City Council and abazange bayagqibele. Sometimes for the sake of moving forward kuhle labo ukuthi bevume iphutha labo belungisisa sisiya phambili ukwenzela ukuthi sihambe ndawonye. So umbuzo obuse kuthini akunjenga abantu abayibo ababambe uBulawayo wethu abakhangele phela labo izibi behlolisise eziyenzayo behambe besiyadampela emagodini nalana bezama ukuvala ukwenzela ukuthi kuye phambili instead of having those 5 meters deep pits maybe ngagcina sengama 2 meters egcine ngasela zingozi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Jennifer, your hand is up. You can speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Siyakuzwa ma.
Hello.
Siyakuzwa. I think put off your video, ma'am. Network yako is bad with the video. Put off your video. Ukhuluma ngela video.
Oh, linjani. Okay. Ngithi mina ngithi ngapha kwa 27 sibulawa ngamagodi. Nxa nanzelela ngikhangelele lapha ngananzelela entabeni lana SSHMO lapha ngamagoda agejwe ngu-City Council. Ngamagoda esabekayo and abantu bahamba khwaphana besiyakhulekela. Bembonani la abantwana abakhuleka kumele labo sike sibambeni u-City Council enze something ngoba amagoda angikhona makhulu. So lezi inhlabathi lizikhipha lisiyavala imigwaqo. Lizigebhe emagodini, amagoda angikhona lizagqibela ngani? Mbonani phapha kumele sikunanzelela abantu bayalimala abaningi asikwazi kabakhulumi but we are having casualties abaningi amagoda nala khamisile. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before I hand over to Bulawayo City Council, I have a question on the chat box. The question on the chat box is from Cindy Sonumalo. Uti, is City Council working with ZRP to arrest these sand poachers? And as community members, do we report these people at City Council or ZRP? Maybe allow me also to put two questions to Bulawayo City Council before they respond. Amanye amagodi that esikhuluma ngawo agejwa ngocontractor elibanika iland ukuthi baservice ama-stands emalokitshini. For instance, indaweni le esikhuluma ngayo ePhilandaba West ungayinanzelela yonke izindlu zindlu ezakhwe yi-City Council lapha olokuzene esithi ngama-private developers yibo abagebha amagodi wona lawa beservice imigwaqo besenzani around that area. Does City Council have a policy or a mechanism of monitoring wona lawa ama-private developers eliwapha indawo ukuthi kabathi i-environment i-damaged yini? Then okwesibili ukuthi lapho eligebha khona amagodi awulungisa umgwaqo, for instance along Ntemba Road kule China leyana eligebha amagodi inhlabathi lapha. Do you inform as City Council the community around so that abantu babekwazi ukuthi lo ngogebha legally or not? Because abanye abantu bagebha amagodi bagebha with imchina and you don't know whether it's a legal thing or not, because maybe kakula culture of telling people ukuthi hayi kulo muntu ozabuye ezogebha lapha hayi simvumele njenge council lingaze limbone gebha lingabi le problem. But also what safety is there? For instance, la kuntemba road engikhuluma ngawo i-area ye-City Council kugebha laba balungisa ephumula ngapha ama-Chinese company le. I have been there. There is no security. Abantu bayabuya kwaphana bezowatsha bezokukha amanzi kulamagoda amakhulu. What mechanisms are put in place to ensure that those places are protected? Then maybe to also buttress point ekhulunywa ngomunye ukuthi I think lamagodi awu-repair ama-water base athatha isikhathi eside kakhulu ukuthi abe filled up. You remember last year around March we lost umntwana eNkulumane owawele egadini lalithiwe ngama-council workers also bezolungisa i-water base. Ephumula futhi kule ndawo okulamagodi athiwa kulungiswa ama-water base. What's the turnaround time ngamagodi ama-water based ukuthi lingagebha kulungiswa kuzabuya kuzolungiswa after ezovalwa after a certain period of time ngoba lawo agcina esiba ingozi? I will hand over to the Bulawayo City Council team in terms of those. There were a lot of questions and opinions and proposals that were put in place.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to invite Mr. Siziba, Director of Town Planning, to talk about the development control, how we engage developers when they are digging across the city. Yabo.
Thank you, Madam, for that. Ama pits, we've got designated pits where it decomposed gravel is supposed to suke khona. Uthi contractor or developer nxa esiya kwakha indawo they are supposed to be shown uyatshengisa ukuthi indawo kumele ugebhe kuyo yileyi, because ukugebha ama-pits khonophiyana it's mining, kuyabe kuyi-mining and kumele ukuthi umuntu abe le mvumo yokwenza khonokho. Kungenzakala, yes, but we have development control where we follow up to say where are people mining, because now Saka maybe in the eastern areas would expect you to uhambe ku certain pit uyegebha khona, kuma western areas uhambe ku certain pit uyegebha khona. So nxa kukuthi kukhona other places that maybe another developer oqalisa ukugebha lapha asebenza khona in an undesignated, kuyabe kumele ukuthi ku-enforce umthetho ukuthi angakwenzi khonokho. So I think we take that as a report as well to say ukuthi maybe there are some contractors or some developers who decide ukuthi bangayithenga inhlabathi or bangayi kuma designated pits ukuthi bathole khona inhlabathi. It will be an illegal thing ukwenza into enjalo.
Thank you, Mr. Siziba. Maybe I'll talk about our projects, our major projects. What we've been doing as a city, we now have for our projects, particularly where we are within the vicinity of the community, level community liaison officers that are attached to the project. And their main purpose would be in the community, would be a VCC project, and also talk about different stages of the project. So this is something we've been doing for as a city, but I think Amanyama kids now, as you noticed, they are from long back. As also town planner or director said, we are now going to map them. So in terms of mapping them, we can now see the extent of the damage in Silandele. As the fees with the city, they are all within illegal poachers. Like Lapis Flower way to we try to put markings in terms of farmer warning signs, we try to monitor them, but once we make them, I think it will be progressive in terms of addressing those degradation problems we have. And then as you know, water base, so we take that concern with we are staying too long. If we are not quick to see value because we need to monitor that best. Because see feedback that all is well. Sometimes you can repair it best, maybe a day, it is a recurrence. So maybe at least 2 days. But in some instances, as a scaper, you could find that maybe there's issues of material start a bit longer. But also we are following up in terms of material, but in cases where it takes longer to procure the material or where we are not able to get it immediately from our stores or even from our suppliers. So that's why you could find challenges now. But we take note of all these concerns. I'll allow senior parks officer to also respond about our partnerships with private players and also stakeholders. Where do you report to? All that will be cleared. Yabo. Mr. Dube.
Thank you, madam. Yes, I will respond. Liana Buzwe, my inspectors, inspectors to inspect these areas. Ama rangers too. Bayazama ukumonitor wona lawa magodi ayiwale problem kakhulu noma nje sibalutshwana lezi moto singalazo but siyazama by all means kwezinye indawo like amagodi eluveve ngale eduze lesikolo sefusi besikwanisa ukuthi seze make sure ukuthi umranger ukhona ngale the whole day ezama ukuthi monitor. We try but ngenamba yethu kubazima ukuthi sibili cover the whole city. But we'll try ukuthi senze njalo siwamonitor amagodi wona lawo. Siyawazi sibili amagodi kakhulu ayi problem. Siyazama by all means ukuthi ama-ranger akhave vele lezo ndawo. Then enye ngicela ukuthi ngiye ku number 2 enye ebuzweyo ukuthi amagodi lawo akuthiwa akhona ngithe amagodi amabili. Amagodi amabili ntenye elinye lokuqala lisemangcwabeni eNew Cemetery eluveve cemetery laphana emangcwabeni amatsha lana. Ungadlula khona phana nje uye phambili is unfortunate kade esizulinile akusangeneki abantu abaningi baphendukile bathi abakwanisa ukungena but sicela ukuthi elinye likhona phana sibese siba lelinye igodi eSt Mary's uyabuphume ngoKame Road ubusufika lapha ukhona usiye Kame Prison. Nxa usiye Kame Prison uyadlula iKame Waterworks usiyadlula iQuarry lapha kwakusenziwa khona iQuarry. Then you just go straight ungani Kame Prison ungadlula kwampana iQuarry lokuze mining yona lena kade khona on your right uzabona kulezenge nje liku-guard room yama-rangers khona phana yikho lapha ulokhu khana on your right kulelo cause that's the direction for ama-pits and ama-legal pits and sites. Then okunye ngicela ukhe ngi-answer okunye ukuthi ama-stakeholders ethu silama-stakeholders abayabuza sebenza lezo therapy especially Phumula, Luveve, and wona lawo ama-police wona lawo ama-stations wona lawo sebenza labo sibili 24/7 sibili labona abantu ama-therapy and sisebenza le-EMA i-EMA layo sisebenza layo kakhulu especially nxa sibuya kuma-operations esiwenzayo amanye ama-operations last year sizamile ukwenza ama-operations amaningi kakhulu up to December 31st December bekulama-operations amaningi ade silawo le-EMA sisebenze kazima bodwa nje sithutsha i-transport sisebenza leze-therapy le-EMA le-Forest Commission lama-locals siyasicele kakhulu ukuthi sicela ama-whistleblowers especially ama-communities khonapho lapho elihlala khona sicela ukuthi siyacela sibili by all means ukuthi lingabona iroli kumbe lingabona isicela lisifonele ngoba isiyakhona liyabe liyikhangele abantu kodwa abantu abanalo babazi ukuba ingozi ngicela lingabalandi lingaze laba-confront. They are very dangerous, those people. Like Country Park engakufica kusenzakala omama babemile iroli layitsha phakathi kwendlela ilayitsha phakathi kwendlela iroli leyo omama seyamemeze bathini bathi bechinga omama but bathe bembona abantu beroli abana ngifika bahle babaleka le roli yabo so ukuthi vele babalalela abantu so kungcono ukuthi lifone ukwenzela ukuthi abantu laba bangaze balilimaza kodwa sizama ukuthi sisebenze kakhulu leze therapy. Ngiyabonga kakhulu ngoba ngabantu abaparticipate kakhulu nxa sibalandile siyakhuluma labo ukuthi basicela basincedise kuma operations. Ngiyabonga.
Sibongile, thank you. Ngithemba sesiphendule okunengi unless kulokunye sikuchile. And then okunye okusihluphayo ngithemba as we close or as we wind up as council yikuthi i-council we are short staffed. Bakhulumile umhloniphi indaba ngalama inspectors abhodayo ehamba ekhangela ehlola. As it is, we still have a lot of vacancies and we can't afford to employ more of our finances. So you find ukuthi kulama vacancies amaningi indawo eziningi sisebenza abantu balutshwana vele kabayenelisi ukwenza umsebenzi. Why? Because i-council kathesi nathi izimali zethu zibaholisi ngoba ukungenisa abantu ungakwazi ukubaholisa futhi is a problem. So we are managing human resources to match the finance that we have. So at the moment, it's challenge with human resource constraint. Yenza kube nzima ukuthi sibe everywhere, and it's across our department amaningi. Until ngakhangela even kuma environment from inspections, premises, or inspector laboratories. So it's a problem that we are facing as a city, but we are slowly trying to address the human capital constraint in our lane.
Thank you very much for those responses. Maybe as we wind up, there is a request on the chat box that may you kindly share the numbers where people can call and report. I was also going to ask that, is there an environmental hotline where people are reporting? Maybe I think it's something that another person has asked that. May you share the numbers where people can phone and report these and poachers when they see them? Is there another question? If is there any other question before they maybe share with us the numbers? Is there anyone who has a question or a contribution? Honorable Maslang, I see your hand up.
Yes. Before they close, because when they're doing a presentation, but they are not sure ukuthi bengenelisa ukuqeda wonke amagugu. So isicelo sami ngesokuthi ngicela ukuthi nxa besivumela sikhulumisane lezakhamizi lapha abazagcinela khona. Then izakhamizi nxa zilawo ama-means ilendlela zokuthi lathi singagqibela ngayo sincedise khona phana ukwenzela ukuthi khona amagodilana wonke avalwe ngoba eqinisweni amagodila aseyingozi kithi.
ngoba abantwana sebethreathena even ukuyazijikela nge-weekend sibambe omunye la esethreathena bamkhiphe phakathi esengenile. So nxa i-council isivumeli ukuthi lapho abazamphelela khona lathi njengezakhamizi sizayenza ungama-meetings nama-councillors sibone ukuthi singaqedisa njani yabo.
Thank you, Honorable. Bengicela ukuthi ngiphendule i-participation ye-community through the facilitator. Nthemba, i-council welcomes all sorts of partnership with the community. Okuqakathekileyo i-coordination ukuthi nxa sesi-decide ube sesibonile njenge-community ukuthi singavala njani amagodi, sicela ukuthi sixhumane lo-council, siyabuya ngapha ema-ofisini sixoxe kumbe sikhulume ukuthi sifise ukwenzani. Then we'll be guided accordingly ukuthi make sure ukuthi i-safety layo ye-community is not compromised. Then uma sikhangela ama-numbers, i-council ile call center lapho si-reporta khona for ama-faults. Siyenelisa I'll type the numbers ku-chat box abafunayo. I-connect silo 0808 84700 0808 84700. This one will tell 08004700 08084700. Siphinde njalo siphele line that you can use for all networks. Esingathi landline kudala. Singakhohlwa ukuthi i-code yabo Bulawayo ngu-292. So sabe safaka u-292 71290. 2922 Siphinde njalo siphele WhatsApp number lapho siyenelisa khona ukuthi sithumele ama-reports ethu, especially even nxa siyenza i-whistleblowing u-0774 668 432 yi-WhatsApp number yethu. Siphinde njalo siyenelisa ukuthi sithathe i-email ku-call center at citybyo.co.zw. Njalo siyayenelisa ukuthi sibuye ema-ofisini yakwazi kathesa kuhambeki nge-COVID, but amanye avuliwe njenge-City Hall yenelisa ukuthi ubuye, although we don't encourage. Asisebenziseni ama-platforms lawa. We also have amanye ama-platforms anjengo-Facebook, anjengo-Twitter, the website yethu. I think okuqakathekileyo, let's share the information and let's address the problem together. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Stempsiwe, your hand is up.
Thank you, Ngiyabonga. Mina, I just wanted to say a few contributions from all what has been said. But I think there are so many suggestions that were made, and I think we need to come up with a way forward on how to implement the suggestions and the way forward as well in terms of the rehabilitation. And the other issue was how feasible is for the City Council and the rest of the stakeholders for us to engage the send transporters so that this problem does not continue in the case of the illegal activities that are going on.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
We need to come up with a way forward on how we move from here.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have a team of rapporteurs that were taking down the contributions, taking down the suggestions, so that after this they then sit down and then we then say what are the actions that are going to be done, and then a report is going to be generated. So it's all the things were being noted, and we have a team of rapporteurs that were capturing that. Maybe there was a question on a possibility of engaging these send transporters, but maybe before it's responded, I also had a question to find out, do we have environmental clubs in the committees in terms of the council? If we don't, is it something that council is thinking that they may be interested in partnerships to establish community environmental clubs? So I think those are the two, and then we wrap up the session for the day.
Yeah, well, I will start maybe with my environmental clubs. Also, my colleagues will assist. I think we environment, our approach is to work with process within the school system, there's health clubs where we are also looking at personal health and environmental health or environmental wellness. So basically, health clubs now are schools based where we're teaching abantwana in environmental competence such as anti-littering and other recycling, also aspect of personal health as well. But what is key now is how do we move from the school environment to the community. I think Silawama community environmental health groups that we are working with our partners, where we are also reinforcing issues there, water conservation issues there, there's a waste management as well as the COVID-19 issues. But I think okufunakalayo is to strengthen those structures. I'm aware that residents associations have those, I know they've got environmental committees that are within the residents or within the ward structure. And we've worked with the My Residents Association when it came to cleanup campaigns, when it came to addressing environmental issues. So our structures are not corner, but the issue is how do they move then and adopt this issue, pits. But we also need to structure them. For instance, with the residents associations, they do work with the councillors, and they do work with our cleansing section, our health services, where they are able to do environmental cleanups within their wards. But what is key maybe is to coordinate those clubs to see how they can assist pits. So maybe they've just been looking at littering and environment in terms of pollution, but they also need to look at degradation, which is where we are. So maybe it's just ensuring that mandate is also shared down the structures. But I think our structures, they are there. So it's not an issue of structures, but it's an issue of programming the structures to take care of that. And I think the issue of engaging St. Poachers, but unfortunately they are illegal. So umuntu oyenza into efihla angikwazi ukuthi singamthola njani ngoba nxa simthola kwesinye isikhathi kuyafanele simbophe. So I don't know how we can engage them. So it's an issue of maybe not only enforcement but also ensuring that information goes out. And also as a community, I think nxa sithenga inhlabathi ngoba abantu laba nxa sebethethe inhlabathi leyi abazithengiseli bathengisela thina esakhayo thina abantu bakobulawayo. So maybe we also need to demand to know ukuthi okay ngicela ubone i-receipt yakho evela ku-council inhlabathi leyo uyithethe nga. So if we can have those kind of community policing ngasincedisa as well. But I invite others to also respond. Yabo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If there is none, I think we have done justice to the topic. We have engaged, we have deliberated, we have shared concerns and responses, and we have also shared ideas. And I think two key takeaways that came up from here, which I felt strongly, was the issue of continued engagement, an open engagement policy kind of from council, and also say let's engage in terms of even mapping these pits. Let's engage also in terms of community kind of responsibility. If community thinks they can do something, come to council, let's engage. In terms of environmental monitoring as community, let's also engage with council, let's collaborate. So I think that's one of the key things that has always made Bulawayo tick, and that will always make us tick. And thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for all the participation, the points. And I can confirm that I have been to the pits that today at around the 10 to 11 I was there. The work is continuing. The team is really working very hard. I thought it's just a matter of closing, but they are doing a splendid job there. I can confirm that I also saw it. So thank you very much for all the efforts. And the Lingadino Alaksasa from the residents, from the councillors, thank you for allowing us to continue to back you and engage you. And thank you very much for the MPs for being here and also continuously showing interest in our community issues. Thank you, council team. for also allowing this kind of engagement. I know you have too many things that you are doing. We are not the only ones that are backing you. There are many people coming to offices, phoning you, but you created your time, you engage honestly and frankly. Thank you very much for that, Linga Dinwa. And thank you also, Zakamizi and different stakeholders for the engagement. And last but not least, I thank Wild for creating and facilitating this platform. Linga Dinwa Wild, you have been very vigilant, you have been very helpful in creating these engagement platforms. May the Lord bless you. Thank you very much. Let's make Bulawayo tick. And remember, we have a vision for Bulawayo. Let's attain the vision for Bulawayo, and let's make Bulawayo great. Thank you very much. May the Lord bless you. Have a lovely day. Siyabonga, our meeting has ended.
Siyabonga.